is so ideological. When Cameron talks about the big society, I think what they're talking about really is, as Tories, you know, and happy to be called the son of Thatcher or Smith, they basically have had no time for welfare state whatsoever. They've never been comfortable with it. They want workers to work in the factory, but if they get tired or sick or whatever, they don't want to have to pick up the tab. You know, sort it out yourself. Yeah. They've had to have the welfare state because politically it was unacceptable for them to actually get rid of it. They now see their chance to get rid of it, right? And yeah. that's what they're after. When they talk about the big society, they mean the end of the welfare state as we know it. And that is such a massive fight that we've got to have, and we've got to win, and we've got to be together on. And you know, you have to say that, and Alice was, you know, absolutely right about this. You know, part of the explanation of why we're in this situation now has got to be the whole sorry project known as New Labour, and Blair and Brown, who was at the middle of it, and you know, and all of that. You know, I think New Labour was incredibly damaging to the working class movement in this country, and we're now paying the price for that. You know, not talking about class politics, capitulating to the rich. You know, getting into bed with corporate, big business, and expecting that somehow, you know, they will sort of see us right in the end, and actually they've just shafted us, right? And you know, that is an absolute outrage. And you know, we've got to learn from that, I think, and start building back up from that. I agree again with Alice that, you know, I think the students have been absolutely fantastic. I think until the student thing happened, the original student thing happened, the media, the Murdoch-controlled media, you know, Murdoch, who was in through the back door of number 10 Downing Street within 48 hours of Cameron being elected and all the rest of it, right? The Murdoch media and all of them were basically, before the student thing, oh, most people agree that the cuts need to be made. There's a remarkable consensus about this. You know, it's just a case of which, you know, cuts to make and so on. And then bang, the students with, we don't think there should be any cuts. And I just thought it was absolutely brilliant. You know, and people who were saying, you know, a few windows got smashed. I don't care that a few windows got smashed. I thought it was absolutely brilliant that they smashed a few windows, to be honest, because it actually shattered the Tory complacency and the Lib Dem complacency. And this week has been absolutely brilliant in terms of the Lib Dem MPs running around, right, trying to save their own necks. Do I vote for it? If, you know, do I vote against it? What do I do? You know, it's absolutely brilliant. If nothing else comes out of this but the destruction of the Liberal Democrats, then, you know, I will be a very happy man, to be honest with you. So I think, you know, the student occupations, I mean, the one in Leeds, the one in Sheffield, you know, there are historical precedents here, aren't there? You know, I remember reading about 1968 in France with the student occupations and that detonating workers who felt support for them. You know, maybe that's a bit of a dream at the moment, but, you know, that kind of thing can happen with an isolated government, students prepared to act. You know, why are the students prepared to act? Because let's face it, I'm not being insulting, I hope, to people in the room. I mean, I'm nearly 50 now. A lot of us in this room are of a generation that got battered by Thatcher. We did see her off in the end with the poll tax and all this, right? But we, you know, we've had bitter defeats and all the rest of it. Those young students haven't, have they? Right? They're young, they're fresh-faced, and they're up for a fight, and they know that they've got a fight. You know, and that's what's brilliant about it. And some of the spirit of the students, I think, has got to be put into the you know, workplaces, and we've got to try and shift things. I want to finish by saying this: the lack of trade union leadership this far is absolutely abysmal, right, and disgusting and appalling. The TUC should have called a national demonstration this side of Christmas instead of waiting for March the 26th, right? We should already be, you know, one national demonstration under our belt. I think there is the massive potential for massive united strike action. That's where our real power lies. I love the Vodafone thing. I'm with Alice. I wanted to do Boots this Saturday, but only 6 of us turned up. Right? I think you need 30 to get away with it, but I want to do it. You know, I think, you know, that thing about, you know, these are the people attached to, you know, do we need the money? Yes, we do. This is where we get it from, these tax dodgers and all the rest of it. I think, you know, we can be up for that, but I think public sector trade unions in particular, right, are in the firing line. There is a massive amount of muscle there if it's organised, and we do need to organise it. And I would say to everybody here tonight, you know, who's in a trade union, we need to be pressurising our local leaders, our regional leaders, our national leaders. We want strike action. We want national demonstrations. I put a resolution on the day of the Comprehensive Spending Review at my school. I put a resolution up at my school, and it's the most militant resolution I have ever put as an NUT rep. It virtually called for a general strike, right? Got voted unanimously. Took it to the Calderdale Association NUT meeting. Got voted through unanimously, right? You know, the potential is there for that to happen, and I think that's where we need to be going. Certainly, one of the things that I think we need to be doing, thinking about over the next sort of like 2 or 3 months, is how many coaches can we get from Halifax to the March 26th TUC demonstration, because I think it'll be massive, it'll be electric, you know, right? And then that will feed back into building locally. But we've also got to build local campaigns, and that's why we're here tonight, and we need to be talking about, you know, pressurising the council to not make the cuts, to put up a fight and so on. I came along tonight as one of the people that's been behind organising this, thinking, you know, it could be 15, it could be 50, it could be 150, right? It's about 50, 60, isn't it? I'm absolutely thrilled to bits that we've got this number of people in a room. We had 70 people in Ridge about 2 weeks ago, right? It's the start. If you read about other places, you know, Bristol, Brighton, you know, it's all on the net, right? Demonstrations of 700, like I said, people invading Vodafone, Boots and all the rest of it. It's absolutely there. I think all of us have got to sort of take a responsibility on to say that if we don't get stuck in, if we don't provide a lead, if we don't see that this is not only an attack, but an opportunity. John McDonnell, the Labour MP at the Sheffield Right to Work March, put it brilliantly. He said, the Tories think that they're coming for us. We've got to make sure that actually we're going for them, right? And everybody cheered. And I think, you know, it's not like 1980s and Thatcher. When Thatcher came in 79, right, she had the ideological wind behind her. You know, I've got this newfangled thing called monetarism, the old ideas of old Labourism and the old welfare state thing, that's all failed. She had new ideas. The people at the top haven't got any ideas, right? They've run it into the ground, and the only idea they've got is the only idea that the ruling class have ever had, and that is to make us pay. And I think we should fight like hell to make sure that we don't pay, that they pay. Thank you.